Welcome back to our channel and our series on the Sermon on the Mount. So we're now in chapter 6. We need to remember that the theme of this sermon that Jesus had was to do with true righteousness. We saw in chapter 5 with the Beatitudes how Jesus talked about how that it's the matter of the heart that's important. He started off with saying, blessed are those who are poor in spirit. He said, blessed are the merciful. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. These are spiritual things, the things of the heart that we need to strive for. Here in chapter 6, Jesus talks about how to show true righteousness. Notice chapter 6, Matthew chapter 6, verse 1, where it says, beware of practicing your righteousness before men to be noticed by them. Otherwise, you have no reward with your Father who is in heaven. You know, this is the situation that Jesus saw when he was on earth with the scribes and the Pharisees, that they were seeking to be seen by men. Their righteousness was so that people could see how important they were, how special they were, how holy they were. They were doing it to be seen by men. This is in contrast to what Jesus said. Over in chapter 5, Matthew chapter 5, verse 16, he says, let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. You see, he's warning them not to practice their righteousness to be seen by men. Rather, we should be serving God in such a way that God will be glorified and not us. That's a sign of true righteousness. Our reward is to be servants of God and to serve him, not to have the praise of those who see us. And so we see a number of examples Jesus gives us in Matthew chapter 6. In verse 2, he talks about giving to the poor. So then, when you give to the poor, do not sound the trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, so that they may be honored by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward in full. You see, what he's saying is these people who were giving and making a big show of it were doing for the praise of men. He says they have their reward in full now, here on earth. And that's the only reward they're going to be having. They're to be honored by men. Then in verse 5 of chapter 6, he says, when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners, so that they may be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward in full. Again, we see these people who were praying in the street corners, a great show of their so-called righteousness. They weren't doing it to be righteous, they were doing it so that men could see them. They have their reward on this earth now, but no reward in the future. No, Jesus says, when we give, we need to do so in secret. He even says, don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. Be in secret. When you pray, pray in secret. Go somewhere quiet and pray to your heavenly Father who is in heaven, and he will hear you. You see, it's a spiritual-based righteousness. It's not a righteousness to be seen by men. Then he talks about fasting in Matthew 6 and verse 16. Whenever you fast, do not put on a gloomy face, as the hypocrites do, for they neglect their appearance, so that they will be noticed by men when they are fasting. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full. Now, if we can kind of see this scene is almost comical. That would make their appearance look haggard. There was suffering in their fasting. But Jesus says no. fasting is good, but you do it in secret. You're doing it not for the reward of man. You're doing it so that you can show God your reverence to him. That way you will have true righteousness. Now we go on to verse 19. Matthew 6, verse 19. He says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." That's the key to it all. Where is our treasure? Is it to do with things on earth? Is it to be seen pleasing, to be pleasing to men? Is it letting other people see what we're doing? Or is our treasure in heaven? That's where it needs to be. Because our treasure in heaven will not be destroyed. Everything in this world will be destroyed. But true righteousness is found with a true heart that seeks to serve God in spirit and in truth. So, don't do the things that you do in serving God to be noticed by men, but do it in secret. And God, our Heavenly Father, will see what is done in secret, and then he will reward you. So, let's not be like the people that are seeking to be righteous here in this life. Seek righteousness in heaven, and then we will be pleasing to God. Thank you so much. We enjoy getting comments from you, so why don't you write in the comment section below. Ask a question. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. We look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.